Hey, okay, come to order. This is the Parks Board meeting. It is now about 6:35. We're going to start. So I've called it to order, and we go right into public comments. Hey. Okay, come on up. I'm Sherry French.
Well, I'm Donald Bailey. I've lived out here since '82.
We're out here.
Up here off of Simpson and Sooner. I've got some property on my homeland there.
Okay.
And I've been fishing here at Liberty and Guthrie ever since.
Sir,
And,
would you give me your name again?
Donald Bailey.
Donald Bailey.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I fished out here even when Tony was running the place out there at Liberty. You remember Tony? And we fished all night long, had no problems. There was no drunks out there. You know, everybody kept it clean. Like I said, there wasn't no boats out there. You know, there was no wake area. We got to catch shad, and we used that bait to catch fish out there. And I went over to Guthrie Lake to catch the shad. There's a little spot back there behind all those houses. There's a gentleman that somebody mows an area right there where you can pull off and park, and it does not block anybody's way in or out. In fact, I've hardly seen anybody come in or out. And I can stand right there at them little rocks, and it's a 7-foot drop off, and there's nothing down there to tear your nets up. Anywhere else you throw, you're going to tear your nets up. And normally I just throw once or twice, and that's plenty. And now I can't do that. I got a warning for that, but I'd like to be able to do that again. That saves me money from buying bait because I'm on a fixed income, and I'm also disabled vet. And fishing outside during the day when it's hot, I'm liable to have a seizure or something, you know. And at nighttime, I can set my clock at midnight when the catfish bite. And after 10 o'clock, you know, you have to leave. And from 6 to 10, there's so many boats out there now. It's really hard to fish. And if you fish over in the camping spot, if you look out in front of there, it's just full of trees, brush. And you go to buy that weights and stuff that you use for your big poles out there, you're going to lose them. And that adds up real quick. So, and if you catch a big cat, there's no way you're going to get him through all that brush and all that stuff out there. And over on that west side in that cove is a perfect place to fish. It's nothing but sand. And after the boats leave, and the people who do fish there are quiet. You know, we don't sit around getting drunk, breaking bottles, or doing dope or whatever. We just fish. And like I said, I can set my clock at midnight when the fish start biting. And from there, and from that time and until the morning, it's pretty good fishing.
Yeah.
But now we can't fish past 10, so we have to come up with other alternatives to going fishing, like on the river. And I really don't like fishing too much on the river because I'm by myself, and if something happens to me, you know, nobody's going to find me for a while until the buzzards start flying over. And but I do catch fish there, but I got to watch out for the cottonmouths, and they're real bad there. And I'd like to be able to catch some shad again and fish past 10 o'clock on up. You know, I'm not going to be raising cane or being noisy. I have camped out one time on that campsite side, and they are very noisy. There's no quiet time over there. The gentlemen and people over there are getting drunk and they're raising cane.
Where is this one?
Hollering and
Talking about Guthrie or Liberty?
Liberty.
Okay.
Yeah. And me and a buddy of mine named Steve used to fly B-52 over in Nam. We're both vets, you know, we know each other real well. And we pick up trash all the time and throw it in the trash can, and the trash can ain't but 30 feet away. And we try to keep the place clean. I mean, it's always been a clean lake as far as I'm concerned. But now people are drinking beer, just throwing things everywhere, and they're kind of trashing up the lake. And I like to see it stay pretty lake. And all I want to do is be able to fish at night. I'm quiet. If I'm noisy, come up and spank me, okay? But, I'm just talking to my friends. We're drinking tea or soda pop. And we're not even drinking liquor. And we're just fishing, having a good time, because that's all we got left in life. We just go fishing. We can't go out and do what we used to do. We're not able to. And I've got a permit for my boat, for the lake, which is just a canoe. And I've got the permit, for being a disabled vet, And if I had to buy a permit to catch shad, I would. But I'd like to be able to do it like it used to be. And if I had to buy a permit to fish later than 10 o'clock at night, I'd even do that. Because that's when the fish bite. And I'm able to handle the cooler nights than I am the hotter days. And,
Excuse me, sir. Is there somebody else, too, that wants to speak on the same subject? Because we'd like to keep it at a minimum of 5 minutes apiece.
Okay, well,
Thank
I'm
you.
finished. I'm finished,
Okay.
We've taken notes.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Y'all welcome. And,
Thank you. Thank you for telling us about that.
Okay, you need me?
No. Hi.
Please state your name and address, please.
My name's Charles Goodwin, and I live at 1215 West Warner in Guthrie. I'd like to see what it would take to get the hours changed back to at least what they were on the lakes, because no one wants to go, when you're catfishing, you do it of a night mostly, and through the week, it used to be 6 a.m. to midnight. I don't know if they had problems with it being that late or what, and then on the weekends, it was 24 hours, Friday and Saturdays, and then if they had a holiday on Monday, like Memorial Day, it would be 24 hours on Sunday. That's the hours deal. There's some friends of mine that like to fish with us, and they don't get off till 9 o'clock in the evening. So at 10 o'clock, you can't go to the lake. Time you get there, you got to quit.
Right.
One of the other deals is a cast net. I've lived in this town all my life and fished both lakes and never had any problems about using a cast net to catch shad until recently. And like I stated, we're not after any game fish. We're after shad for bait. Because, you're using a natural bait for your fish. And you're not dumping any minnows that are foreign to the lake into the lake or anything. You're using a natural bait that's already in the lake. Your fish bite better on them. It's just, it's the way it's been for years, and I'd like to see if we could change it back.
Okay. It was midnight.
It was, through the week, it was 6 a.m. to midnight is what it was before. And 24 hours on the weekends, which would be Friday and Saturday night. And then if Monday was just a regular weekday instead of a holiday, I believe that's the way it was 24 hours. If it was a holiday, Sunday would fall into Monday too.
And this was specific to Liberty Lake?
It was for both lakes.
For both lakes?
And, that's, as far as I can remember, that's the way it was. But, the cast net deal, the previous lake enforcement, Chuck Stepp, and then Doug Miller was there, and we never had any problems using a cast net until now. And I believe the rules on pole and line fishing and jugs and trot lines and stuff, that's all the same as it was. I was referenced Oklahoma City's rules. They specifically state no cast nets, but they've never had that here that I know of.
Well, I appreciate this. A lot of times when things are decided, we only see one little part. We don't realize how that affects other people, and if we don't have the feedback, we don't know.
Right.
So I really appreciate you telling us this.
And I didn't even know you were having the meetings until just recently, whenever
Okay.
I had to deal over the cast net, and Officer Gibbs told me that, the only way to do anything with it was come to the meeting, and, I didn't even know you had a meeting on it. So now that I know, I'll be more active.
I appreciate it.
How does
Thank you.
how does a cast, and I'm not a fisherman, but how does a cast net not catch game fish as well?
Well, it will at times, but most generally when you're looking for shad will flip the top of the water. It's a signature that they do. And you throw it on sight. And it's like I told Officer Gibbs, I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I've caught crappie in a net before and I turned them loose. I'm not interested in them.
Shad is what you use for bait.
Right. Yeah, shad is a bait fish. And in your state fishing regulations, it tells you about the net size that you can use for cast nets, and cast nets can't be no more than 3/8 mesh, which is a small mesh, so it doesn't hurt any fish. They're nothing like gill nets or anything like that. It's a round net that you have to cast, and most of them cover a 4-foot or a 6-foot radius area. So
Okay.
you're targeting a small area.
Okay. How do you like to fish? Do you like to go out after 10, between 10 p.m. and midnight? Is that your best catching time?
Well, through the week, if you're going to catfish from the bank, and most of your fish aren't going to do much at all through the day in the heat in the summertime. So you try to get there just a little before dark so you can set up and fish for catfish. Now, if you can fish 24 hours, a lot of the time, your fish won't do anything till 11, 12, somewhere in there. That's just the way they work.
Uh-huh.
But that's, I like to drift fish myself out of the boat, which you cover more area. And as long as you've got navigation lights on your boat, there shouldn't be a problem with it. That's the way it's always been.
Well, that gentleman before said that he could set his watch by midnight when the catfish start biting.
And that's possible.
So how does that help if just about the time they bite, it's time to go home?
I mean, I don't know where he's fishing at. If he's fishing on Liberty, I fish mostly Guthrie Lake, but
Okay.
especially bands that they're skiing and stuff on the other one during the day. It's just too much traffic. You
Right.
know. A lot of your fishermen are going to shy away from it because there's just too much boat traffic.
Right. Okay.
I'd
But-
like to know, because I live on Guthrie Lake on Lakeshore Drive. When you're talking about being there after midnight, are you talking on that side where the residential area is, or are you across where there's no housing?
Mostly, it's around where the old bait house area was, and then down, I'm not familiar with which one's Lakeshore Drive,
It's where all the houses are.
on the
Would be
west,
across-
southwest
It'd be
side.
across from the bait shop and the boat dock. And I always thought that you could not be out there. I don't remember any
Well,
fishermen.
from-
We've been out there for quite a few years.
Now, we've fished there before and never had any problems, and most
After
of your,
midnight.
yeah, on the weekends, and most of your guys that are fishing, they're gonna be quiet. They don't make a lot of noise.
Well, you must have been real quiet because I don't remember hearing you.
I've fished around there several times, where there used to be a wood dock run out there and they've taken it out. We used to fish right there beside it. And, like I say, most guys are gonna be real quiet because, the quieter you are, the better your fishing is.
Yeah, I was
Talk amongst
thinking that.
yourselves, but you don't get loud.
Uh-huh.
But we're not out to bug anyone or, to bother anybody, and that's what I didn't know, if the reason that they changed the hours was because somebody was having a problem with disturbances or what was going on, so,
Maybe we just didn't know.
and that's a possibility.
I think there had been some disturbances. I don't know who or how long ago that was, but I believe that was,
When were the rules changed?
oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a long while.
Well, the first
And I don't know exactly.
time I seen anything changed on it was where they went out and posted the signs
3 years?
on on the Saturday before Memorial Day is when the post and the sign went up at the lake.
Okay.
And before, up until that time, you could get online and look at the rules, and it stated till midnight through the week and 24 hours. It actually had it on the website.
Yeah, we've been doing some changes.
But, I mean, but that's about all I've got.
Okay, well, you've been helpful. Thank you.
And I think most of the guys are the same way, but thank you.
When with Officer Gibbs, could you tell us when the changes were made?
The changes, I think we did the first changes in March, I think is when the actual new rules went into effect. The exact date, I don't know, but it was the end of March, and then we did a small little change on some wording in May, and that was, then since then, they've been the same.
Okay.
I guess we heard so much, I forgot.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you fish?
Some, but not in a while.
Have you ever gotten the shad for bait?
No, I don't net for shad.
Shad. It's French. French for Chad. Ah,
I didn't state this, but the only way you can catch them is with a net, because they eat plankton. You can't catch them on a hook.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Now, was the rule changed about the net fishing in March as well? Or
No,
when-
as a matter of fact, it was done by really a permission by that particular lake ranger as he was going through. The ordinance has always stated for, as long as these ordinances were in effect, that fishing is by pole and line only.
I see.
Quite a bit was allowed back and forth, and there's a little bit of conjecture. This way brought up, he said Oklahoma City specifically states no net fishing and things. However, there was some disagreement over how that was to be interpreted. However, at any rate, it does not specifically say you cannot shad, net for shad. It doesn't say that. However, the interpretation has gone by pole and line fishing only means that the only way that you can pull any type of fish out of the lake is by pole and line, is what the city has decided to take that as an interpretation.
And environmentally, regulation-wise, why would you not want to use, why would we prohibit net fishing?
Now that I would be unable to answer for you as far as environmentally. I don't know.
Okay, why would we do it anytime? I mean, why would we prohibit it?
Well, we prohibit different types of fishing other than pole and line for different reasons. There's several types, and this is only going to be a short list. There's regular pole and line. There's net fishing where you can actually net with larger nets, like the gentleman was talking about earlier. There's also crossbow fishermen. There's just a number of, spear fishing by diving. I mean, there's just a number of different ways that people can fish. And so what the city had decided to do is to say what we want is pole and line only.
Okay. Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Here. Thank you.
Okay. I do stay in Guthrie. Matter of fact, we moved down here to fish.
What is your name,
That's
sir?
why we moved down here.
What's your name?
My name is Larry Jones, and we've been fishing here, I guess ever since I was 5 years old. And to answer your question about the net part of it, is certain fish that you're not supposed to catch, like bass, crappie, chown cat. Those are game fish. So that's the part of the net. That's why they don't want you throwing a net. A lot of guys that throws a net for shad, they throw those fish back because that's not what they're fishing for. They're fishing for
Right.
shad. Shad is a bait fish.
Right.
So that's the answer to your question that you was wanting to know.
Okay.
That's the point why they don't want you throwing a net for fish.
Because if you don't throw them back, it's cheating.
If you don't throw it back, it's against the law.
Oh, more than cheating.
Yeah,
But is it-
especially bass. Bass, you can go to jail.
Is it fair to say then that if you're net fishing for game fish, then you're not sporting?
It's not a good sport.
It's not a sporting thing. It's against the law.
Yeah, you're either trying to sell fish or
Yeah.
you just.
Because
just
you're
greedy.
catching a bunch of fish at one time.
Yeah.
Where when you're doing the shad, you're just getting those
Just bait fish.
just for bait,
Uh-huh.
and you use a very small net,
Right.
similar to what you would use if you were shrimping.
Right. Well, no, shrimping bigger net. This
Is that a bigger net?
This is a small net.
Even smaller than that, okay.
Wish he would have brung one, but it's if you see somebody throwing a net, it's mostly for shad. Everybody know the rules. I mean, it's not too many real fishermen gonna cheat like that because they're not gonna take a chance going to jail. You catch bass and you don't throw him back, you going to jail. Just simple as that. But what I was wanting to know was the rules. He said the rules changed in March. What was the rules? What changed? Was it what changed in March?
A lot of things.
I can go over some of the main changes.
Well, the part about the lake is what I'm concerned about, fishing at night.
Oh, the hours. You wanna-
Yeah, the hours.
The hour, and I brought our old statute as well. They were a lot, it's exactly what the gentleman said earlier, but April 1st to September 30th, it was 6 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay.
And that was Sunday through Thursday, and over 24 hours, like the gentleman had said, Friday and Saturday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, and Labor Day. Now, October 1st to March 31st, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. inclusive. Everything shut down at 10 during the winter hours.
Okay, well, that's always been, the winter hours have always been, the lake closed at 10. But a lot of times, like the guy that used to run the bait house, he knew us and he wouldn't say nothing. And like you stay on the lake, most fishermen are not going to be making a lot of noise. The people that are making noise are people that are partying. Because if you're a fisherman, you're going to have to be quiet to catch fish. Fish are not dumb. So you have to be quiet to catch fish.
Well, I know at one time, and I don't know how late they stayed, probably they stayed that late, I was in bed.
Yeah.
No, they didn't make any noise, and they fished off a little far from us. But it was a lot of men, and they'd set up out there.
Yeah.
They were there every night.
Sometimes they light a fire. I mean,
But
They-
I think that
yeah.
was always against the rules
Yeah.
over on that side.
yeah, but like I say, it's fishing. We've been fishing over there by that area. We was really upset when they tore that dock down. And me and my wife, we had always thought the guy tore it down because people were getting on it. We never knew that Guthrie, the city of Guthrie, tore that down. And I had to apologize to that guy, even though he never knew that we thought he tore it down. Then we back.
No, he had worked really hard on it.
Yeah, I mean, he spent money too.
Yes, he did.
And it don't hurt anything. Matter of fact, it helps the lake. I mean, it makes people buy more permits. It help people to catch fish. You know, it's just a lot of things that you do help people catch fish. Like I say, we've been fishing there for a long time. And like right now, 10 o'clock, okay, who's gonna fish 100 degrees?
Yeah,
I mean, come on, 10 o'clock,
Almost like-
100
Yeah.
degrees.
yeah.
I mean, you can't go on the lake until it cools off. So that's not working.
Yeah.
And most of these lakes are built, these watersheds and lakes like this, or aerial lakes, are built for fishermen. Now, I know we use it to get water, but they were mainly built for people to fish.
Okay.
And if you take that away, you might as well shut the whole lake down.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of times we'll go out at 12 o'clock and fish on the dam. And we'll fish till morning, you know, but nobody know we're there unless you see our car. Fishermen don't make a lot of noise. They don't disturb people. They're not looking for something to steal. They're not trying to break in houses. Every now and then you get one person may come along, or two persons, and they'll mess it up for the whole bunch.
And I think that's what's happened,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's nothing wrong if somebody's making a lot of noise in your area where y'all stay on that lake side, because that's a beautiful spot. And you just call the police. Because fishermen don't make a lot of noise. I mean, do you guys make a lot of noise when you're trying to catch fish?
That's quiet time.
Yeah, you gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
Fish is smart. If you walking on the bank too much, you won't catch a fish. So, that's what I mean, I hate the fact that you're changing it because most fishermen that are out that late, they are fishing. They're not doing nothing else but fishing.
Well, I appreciate this, that you came and helped us understand this a little
Yeah.
more.
So I'd hate for you to change that because a lot of times I'm out to catching crappie late at night. I mean, a lot of times, and then again, you work. You know, most people work. So you get off of work, you probably eat, lay down a while, and then you get up about 11 o'clock or so and go fishing.
That's great.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have anything to add to what the last three people say
That has not been said.
that has not been said? Would you like to talk? And tell us your name.
My name is Tony Semino. I live on 1815 West Oklahoma, right here in Guthrie on the west side. My big thing to add to that is we've got issues with, we put in a saying that we're going to have a swimming area here at Liberty, and it's plastered that this and that. We got two dirt piles two like mounds of dirt sitting right there, and I've actually went camping right there on that spot and everything, and I saw on there and I corrected myself because I was fishing there. I didn't know I couldn't. So this is what made me get into the big rules and made me have a problem with all this. Is I went this morning because I thought we were doing this at 10 o'clock this morning. So I had the ladies over here print me out a list of the rules and everything. Well, on y'all's rules and everything that they gave me, it says that you cannot fish. It's quiet time between 10 p.m. and 6 p.m. There's no
10
fishing.
a.m. and 6 p.m.?
No, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. It's quiet time. There's no, nobody there. But it states that in there for campsites. It does not say nothing about the whole lake. And I know for a fact the whole lake is not a campsite because you can't set up a camp right in the middle of the boat ramp. There's just places you just can't set up a camp. I mean, they put up little posts and grills for the campsite, for the camping spots. Well, that's fine. Ain't nobody want to fish over there anyways. It's all brush and nasty.
Yeah.
Well, we got these other spots, these little walkway piers we got on. We got the dam. Ain't nobody going to put up a tent on the dam. So I'm trying to understand, and I want y'all to think and look at what y'all have got posted. Is there's a big glitch in there on, well, we got Mr. Gibbs saying, hey, I have to tell everyone that they can't, but then again, the rule says, oh, you can't fish in the campsites, not the whole lake.
Right.
And then we've got issues at Guthrie Lake with, talking with some gentlemen about with how to go about, we got these, paying for these annual fees, $50, $55, whatever, all for a whole year. Well, none of this was even said anything. All the rules are changing in the middle of it. So all them being able to stay out past 10 is gone, taken away from them when they're on already have a pass stating that they have up to this hour. Now y'all are taking away their money, and nobody seems to find it funny or even kind of anything that we're taking away rights in a way. A law, basically, if you have a business and someone buys your business, they're buying all your rules and everything you had, regulations you had for that business at that time. They have to uphold all treaties, anything to do with that business, and they're allowed to change rules and regulations. But they have to honor them old contracts until they are voided.
Right.
But that's kind of like it's not being honored because they're saying, oh, yeah, you bought this pass before that time, but guess what? We're not grandfathering you in at all or nothing. We're just changing it on you, flip script. We can't do nothing for you. Get out of here. Well, then that makes no sense because you've got people living on the other side of Guthrie Lake that don't buy annual passes, don't know if they got fishing permits or nothing. You've got them fishing off their backyards, boats parked in the water all the time. They can go out anytime they want, and they do. You see them, they'll leave right from their dock and they'll go out there in the lake, this and that. But if I was to take my boat and go out there, I'd have to be out there at a certain time. My boat would have to be out of that water, which that's fine. You know, there's a little bit of difference because they live right there. But same rules should be applied. I mean, there's no one saying whether these people that live in this community are paying to be on that lake at the times, and you can't have Mr. Gibbs, he can't just go strutting through their backyard and patrolling that line saying, hey, come up to these people's backyard, you got a fishing permit, blah, blah. He can't do that. So there's a bunch of stuff that's just like left out in the open, like, what's going on here? There's a bunch of, you can't do this, you can't do this. Well, what can we do? I'm not hearing nothing. I'm getting one posting on the internet. Right now I am employed at Brandon's Bait and Tackle. So I get a lot of fishermen. I deal every day, all day with fishermen coming in, and all the main talk for 2 months has been Guthrie, Liberty, Guthrie, Liberty. And it kind of upsets me because I love this town and I love to bring good revenue into this town and build. And the way everything's set up, I'm seeing, oh, we're getting money in, but we got porta potties at Liberty, no bathrooms no more. I mean, there's just wanting to build and have all these out-of-towners come in when they get to our lakes. They're junk. You got to get out of there. They're not like Arcadia where you can, fish all night with certain rules set and them rules are in stone. And if there's any change, there's a big, it's posted everywhere where all these seats right here can be filled, and people can put their word out there. There's just a lot of stuff that just needs to be put into consideration that's just not out there.
Why don't we get, seems like what we need to do is clarify what we've got and then change it, right?
Yeah, we need a better understanding of what's going on. That way, and like I said, some of them, like the grandfather thing, I know that sounds silly, but I mean, that's a contract. I mean, we bought these permits and bought this yearly thing, and we're just told, get out, And
So
it's not his fault because he's doing his job too.
Yeah.
So-
So you're seeing this, if you work at the Bait and Tackle, you're seeing a lot of fishermen come in there, and a lot of them have the same grievance?
Yeah. Almost everyone. And everybody, we all fish because it's easier and we like the fishing there, but it's like we almost don't even, we want to take our money and our time and our positive thoughts and talk about another lake instead of being positive about our own community.
Yeah.
We want to be negative about it because all this negative stuff's going on.
Right.
I'd like to hear some good stuff instead of people saying, you probably only go fish those little holes, and just talking junk on our lakes.
Yeah.
When we can make something out of ourselves and our community. It's just
Okay.
get crazy.
Okay.
So.
Well, I appreciate your feedback, and I took a bunch of notes. I thank you, Tony. Do you have something to add to everything else?
Not on those set particular issues.
Okay. And what's your name?
My name is John Goodwin, and I live at 1718 West Cleveland. And a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I and my kids went to Liberty Lake, and they've opened where you can have alcohol in the campsites. But there were several vehicles right there by the boat ramp. They were all drinking. All the beer cans were strewn along the ground. There was a trash can about 5 feet away. I went to unload my boat off the ramp. Kids everywhere swimming right there by the ramp, which is a safety issue. I'd like to see if there'd be a designated swimming area for people that's not in a campsite to get them away from the ramps, because if you're unloading a boat that many people or kids around, it's hard to watch everybody. Somebody gets
Right.
up behind that engine, the prop can hit somebody,
Yeah.
they can get run over. The other issue that I have is the direction of travel on the lake. There is a state regulation of travel. I believe it's counterclockwise if you're pulling skiers or tubers, or that should apply to jet skis, everybody on the lake, because that lake really isn't big enough to handle as much traffic that's been on it lately. When I was out there, there was probably 10 or 11 boats on the water, maybe 5 or 6 jet skis. And that is really a lot of traffic for that small of a lake. There's going
Yeah.
to be a real tragedy,
And this was Liberty Lake.
Liberty
Right.
Lake.
But you know, I see where there is, swimming is allowed only in the designated areas. So obviously, these people that were swimming right out by the boat dock weren't in the designated area,
Well,
which I don't,
I don't think the designated area is designated yet, and that is something
It's in the
that
process.
we've
Yeah.
been working on
We're
beach
working on
bringing
it.
in sand, and
Right.
that whole area is sort of a project.
And that's sort of why I
Waiting to
brought
happen.
it up, is because there was no posting for it. But, I mean, that's something that can become an issue really fast,
But we have approved a beach there that's for swimming only, and
okay?
it hasn't happened yet.
But I would say if you see something like that, call the cops, or cop.
Any-
Yeah, I would say,
Well, and, I just wanted to bring it to the
I
attention
appreci-
that it's happening. Is
yeah, I
because
appreciate it.
There's
yeah.
all kinds of boat traffic at that ramp, and it doesn't take but a split second for somebody to get hurt.
That's a lot of boats
Right.
on that lake.
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
for that small of a lake.
Yeah,
I mean, that really is a lot of traffic. Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
We need you to come up here, please.
Is there any way to be to get contacted or find out a way to help get the process going? Because that's what I'm looking for. My name's Tony from Earlier. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to get things rolling if I have to help in some way, or go out flyers to get voters to vote for some, to help or raise money to help some way get the beach built and get things going the way everybody wants. Or I feel the same way. I mean, everybody's kind of on the same page, wants different new change, but we want everything to be working to where everyone can enjoy the lake,
Right.
and the rules y'all make or whatnot can be set in stone, and we can help get it done that way, because it's getting busier and busier and busier. Like everybody I know has heard, oh, Liberty is now a swimming lake, so we got people coming from way out of town, which is great for revenue, like I said, but how do we go about helping y'all do?
It's my understanding, didn't we have some sand donated for the?
It's two piles.
If I might expound on this.
Yes.
We got started on the grading the beach down. Our motor grader went out.
Oh, yeah.
It is down, gone. So we have been waiting to purchase another one. It was approved Tuesday night's council meeting. And so we'll be getting a new motor grader, not brand new, it's a used one. But we will be doing that, and then we can get back on the beach.
And the beach?
DeLisi donated the sand.
Yeah.
We just have to get it there. So
And the
it's
beach
in
was
the process.
was prioritized in our meeting last
Yes, it
month.
was.
One of the top 3 priorities we had.
All right,
But our
Yeah.
equipment is very old, and we have
I grew up here, I know.
no problem. So anyway, that's kind of where we are.
Well-
Like I said, I grew up here. We're not the richest community, but I like to make it a very wealthy community for everyone. And any ways y'all can put out to the public, hey, we need whatever, just.
Well, I
I'd
know
like to
that
know.
what you're doing right now is helping push things forward. It's helping us being where we understand what's going on so we can all get on the same page and get things done. But if we don't hear from you all, and if you give up on us, or the city council, where you're not there helping us understand. So I would say, when I was on that side trying to get some changes done, I would come to every city council. I would come to the Parks Board, not to raise Cain, but just to make them aware that I'm there to help get us all on the same page.
Yeah.
So if that helps,
I'll be coming to them all. I mean, I didn't.
Okay.
This is the first time I ever knew y'all even did this.
okay, well, good, I'm glad. Thank you. Hello.
How you doing? My name is Charles Jones. That's my brother right there. So he was up here earlier.
Yeah, you kind of look alike.
And that's my mother. She's, I'm going to tell her age. She's 84.
Woo!
So she taught us how to fish, actually. We
He
thought
said
it was
that
our
on
daddy,
TV.
but yeah. So how many of y'all fish, actually?
Not a fisherman.
Yeah.
But I don't have time.
We would have fired half of these people and gotten a whole new board just for you, but we didn't have the time.
Okay. Well, like I say, I didn't get to hear all of it because we not too long got here. So I don't know what all was asked, but I know I was called. John called me, and matter of fact, I seen him, I've been around him, but I really don't know him. But when he called, I come out for my support. So main thing, I think he was actually talking to my wife on the phone, and I came in on, and he was talking about the hours, and I think he said something about the net, what my brother was talking about earlier.
Okay.
And one of the biggest things about the hours is, like some of them probably have said earlier, that a lot of us work. Might not get a chance to go out until late. And even with the heat, that's one of the main things right now. I'm out of Dale City, so I came down here. And to tell you the truth, I ain't fished the lake this year, but I do support it. I've been fishing it. We've been fishing it for a long time. And when I do get ready to fish it, I want to be able to fish it at night if I want to. So 10 o'clock is too early to be closing something. We have a lake in Dale City they call Eagle Lake. It was just a community lake that was always there, but they made it a Dale City lake. Well, it closes at 10. They have facilities and stuff like that, but it closes at 10. Matter of fact, they had an incident out there, I think y'all seen on the news, where the truck went in the water with the little kid or something.
I remember
that. Was
that.
Eagle Lake, yeah. Well, it closes at 10, so actually, once I get going, I'm not able to get, I go out there, I might make it out there around about 8, before you know it, get your stuff all out there, and it's time for me to go. So, again, I don't want to see that happen to this lake at all. This is a nice lake. We've been fishing it for a long time, as long as I can remember myself. So I don't want to see nothing happen to them hours. I mean, I think things can be better. Some of the facilities around are better. I mean, you used to have bait houses, 2 bait houses when we first started fishing. Now it's not a bait house that I know of on the lake. So that's something that can be upgraded, another bait house, somebody there to take the money for the permits. I mean, they talked about annual permits, that's a good thing. And then, because it's all about, we want to have fun. We're out there to have fun. We're not out there to make a lot of noise. Like they say, fishermen don't make noise. I mean, when we out there, he wouldn't even know we was there if he didn't see our vehicle. I mean, I know the way we fish, we don't even use a liner. We just have a little light, and we're out there. I know. And past, I know the hours did shut down, I think, in the wintertime at 10. I think so. Is that true? In the past? Is that right? In the past, then the lake closed down in the winter at 10 anyway? Yes. Yeah. And I think, like my brother said, if we went out there in the wintertime, I don't even think we was even bothered after 10. I mean, because we didn't make no noise, so we wasn't raising no cane. And I don't know you, but I understand you stay across from the old dock. Yeah, that's a good spot over there, Caught a lot of fish over there. Matter of fact, I hooked my son in the ear one time with a jig, just a short story, and we was on that dock. And so I asked him, I said, well, I tell you what, we can go to the doctor, and I can get charged a lot of money, and I can give you $10, and I'll take it out myself. He jumped on that $10, but that's just a little story, bro. But again, I just came here for support. I mean, we know some changes have to be made, but for us fishing at night, I mean, you got I know two fish, and I know they probably already talked about, they don't move until nighttime. You got a flathead. This lake, Guthrie Lake, is known for their big flatheads. If you look in the records, I think they have some of the better records of that fish. And at night, that's the time that fish moves. So people go out there to catch him at night. And after 10, you know, you ain't gonna be able to fish. You ain't gonna be catching that fish. You got a saugeye that moves at night too. So you got a couple of fish that moves at night. So like I say, we're just here to support. Matter of fact, my mom wanted to try to this evening since we was up this way, but I have a little work to do when I get home, so we're not gonna get to fish today. But I just wanted to, let you know I'm here to support the lake and the changes that's gonna be made.
And I love what you're saying and that you're fishermen, but how do we distinguish from the fishermen? I wouldn't care if you guys were out there fishing, and you used to be. But what
would
about
say
the
the
ones
noise,
that are,
right?
They're gonna be there after midnight. How are we gonna go out and say, are you fishing? Because I think
You're gonna know the ones that's not fishing. They're gonna be making noise, but I think it should be open. I think it should be open to everyone. And again, if something happened, then hey, is it Gibbs? Hey, he's right there. Give him a call. If something ain't right, cause we're not gonna be uproaring. I mean,
But you wouldn't be satisfied with just fishing on the dam and over where the boat dock is. You want to come around to the residential area or over in the park,
What y'all think about that? Whole lake.
whole lake. Okay, that's
Whole
what I
lake.
want to know.
So
Even if it's just boat to the personal, that's fine. Not actually getting on those people's property, that's fine.
Well, you want to open even the other side, that the homes back up to the lake.
Not just the homes you're at. The area that's along the road over there.
The water
that you can
and lake,
access
but not on people's property, and not on their property.
So not on the east side, mostly the west side.
Yes.
Yeah, you're,
They buy boat fish up, on the shore towards. We're not talking about getting on their property on the east side. That's kind of wondering.
As far as the enforcement issue goes, I know for a fact that there's boats on the east side of the lake that don't have any numbers on them, which is required by the state of Oklahoma, or tags. And that is not being enforced because no one goes over to check.
Okay.
So one of the deals is, I think that, so you stay across over there, and I can understand, because my mama, she has problems with music sometimes, somebody playing the music loud, so even that bothers her. So we can see what you're trying to, what you're saying. So we really just want to be able to fish. I know they want to fish the whole lake. And there's certain areas, I mean, that area up in there where you across, I have went there at 12 o'clock at night. I know when that dock was there, when they pulled that dock, that did slow a lot of that down, because there was some good fish in there. And still some good fish come up in there, but mostly now we kind of fish the dam, around the new boat ramp and stuff. They fish that little pier that goes out and all that. So, but overall, the whole lake is surrounded really by residential. Right across from that dock there is residential. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard. I mean,
Well, it sounds like it's pretty simple. If you make noise, you're not fishing.
that's right.
Is that a good statement?
Yes.
Okay.
it is, but how do we open it up just to the fishermen?
Yeah, I know.
Stop, ask Officer
Well,
Gibbs.
let me tell you how the city do it. Can I tell you how the city do it?
Okay.
The city
yeah,
of Oklahoma
I
City?
love it. Yeah.
This is how they do it. They have on their permit certain times. Well, actually, at 11 o'clock, if you're not fishing, you got to go. At 11 o'clock, all city lakes, that includes Hefner Lake, Overholster, Draper, I'm missing some, Thunderbird, not Thunderbird, no. No, not Thunderbird. Any of the lakes, any of them lakes has, even they got closer home places now. You got a place at Edwards Park. You got a place up in Moore that they call it close to home fishing. Any of the city lakes areas around the old Dolisi, at 11 o'clock, if you're not fishing, you got to go. Because there's a lot of people out there smooching and whatever they doing. They got to go. Fishermen, they can fish all night long. And that's
Who enforces? Do they? I don't think.
the
officers
enforcers
have
is the
work
police.
24 hours a day, do
They
they?
come through there at 11 o'clock shining the lights. And if you ain't fishing,
You to make sure someone gets out there and cover that.
if you ain't fishing, you got to go.
That's
And they
cut
they-
and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the fishermen, they still there. And I know for sure. And especially they go around that dam. Y'all familiar with Hefner Dam? I mean, people
Yes.
run and jog and stuff now. But it's a lot of people on that lake that does other things that's around there. And at 11 o'clock, if you ain't got a pole out, you got to go. So, I mean, you can look at something similar to that. But, you know, we want to be able to fish all night. We don't want to make this a lake like Eagle Lake and the rest of the lakes. We want people to even, like say, come out of town and be able to enjoy fishing. Want to have them a place where they can go to a bait shop. And I know bait shops ain't going to stay open all night, but even during the daytime when they want to get something or permit or whatever. Because I know lately, when I have went, where do I get my permit at? Who do we get it from?
That guy?
Yeah, but it's empty most of the time.
But you know what I'm saying, you know, and it ain't up to y'all to put a shop there or something. But I mean, you know, you got people who don't know, and I know it's about money. I mean, I know you want the money. I mean, if I had it, I want the money. You know, it's a lot of fishermen. Go ahead.
Like the disturbance deal, it's no different than any other residential neighborhood. If you have a disturbance, you call the police and they come and
Right.
take care of
Not special
Right.
fishermen on the lake.
Yeah.
it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Most of your fishermen aren't there to disturb you. And they're gonna have a permit on their person because, and a lot of them carry annual permits. So they don't have to stop and be bothered. That's what we purchase every year, is an annual permit for our boat and the fish. And we keep these on our person, and then when we leave the truck at the ramp, we put it on the dash of the truck at the ramp, so the officer can tell who's got a permit. And that's like when he comes around, he should be checking permits on the other individuals that buy a daily permit.
Yeah, because it's not right that he has to have one, but Joe over here don't have one.
Right.
And I might be Joe because I haven't, you know, I might fish when I do, but knowing it's a place to get it, I will have my permit. It's just like the city of Oklahoma, we get the permits. Their permit, I don't know how Guthrie is, but I know that Oklahoma City's used to be from April to April, but I think they changed that. It's from when you get it now, and it lasts a year. How much is that permit now for the boat and
One lake's $50 for fishing.
$50, and that's for a boat and the fish. I know that over at Hefner, you're also able to fish all the lakes too with that same annual. Even the river, you know what they call the Oklahoma River now? You have to have a permit to fish that now. And that's a city permit to be able to fish that. And it's probably the same way if you're not fishing, you go, but they don't check too much on the river. But them city lakes, they do come around with a flashlight, that big old light on the police car that y'all have, you know, and they shine. And a lot of times if they don't see, and a lot of times when we fishing at night, he'll never see us if our vehicle's not, because we use a little light on our head, and then we use a little night light. We fish with corks, so.
Well, is there anything else? We really do need to move on soon. Is there anything that anybody can add that we have not heard? Well, that's-
Off of Liberty,
Thank you.
and that involves
And this
That's
is
number
something that,
5.
this is also something that we are not voting on this evening. We're just listening to you guys to gather some knowledge.
I just have one quick.
Yes, sir.
It's just a clarification thing.
Okay.
Alrighty.
What's your name?
My name's Jeff Goodwin. I live on the west side of town here. The only thing that I had was when you're catfishing, the one thing with lights is you don't want to shine them in the water or shine them around because catfish, they're real sensitive to light.
Uh-huh.
That's part of their nocturnal thing. And then the other deal with noise is they have whiskers on their face and they pick up electric currents or vibrations. And that's another reason why you want to be quiet when you fish it for 'em. Is it's just knowing your the fish that you're fishing for. So that's all I had.
So if you're making noise, you're not fishing.
Well,
You're not
yeah, I mean,
catching
you're not catching anything. You're scaring your fish away.
Yeah, and everybody else's.
I just want to clarify that
Okay.
because that's
Yeah, the
that's a
lights.
characteristic of catfish.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, if that catfish is as big as I am and you catch him, you're gonna hoop and holler.
Well, I have-
Is there anyone here opposed to night fishing? Apparently not.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well,
Does anyone know why the rule was changed?
Well,
we didn't know any
we have
better,
revisited all
probably.
the rules, and the rule changes were presented to us
Yeah.
with reasons behind them, and
Mm-hmm.
we listened, and we sort of, yeah. So
Um,
that's why.
We know why they were changed?
Well, you know, noise, partying, you know, whether it was a problem or not. Sounds like this is something that could be worked on, though, and tweaked.
Yeah,
Whether it's a nighttime permit that's involved with the year, you know, it just needs to be revisited, it sounds like.
I like the idea that if he comes by after 10 o'clock, if you're not fishing, you got to go. Because anybody that's, if you're out there and you're not fishing after.
Yeah, have a permit or be gone.
You're up to no good anyway.
Right.
yeah.
Well, I think,
Easy on Mr. Gills too, because he can do whatever he want to do until about 11 o'clock.
Oh, he does anyway.
One round, and that kills it all.
well, I think we ought to put it on our agenda to look at all this now that we've got you all shown up.
Well.
And again, I don't have mistrust about you guys. It's just what does it open it up to? If we'd open it up to you, how can we keep that other type out?
Do we need to talk to you, Mr. Officer Gibbs?
Not tonight.
To, okay,
Not tonight.
okay.
Put it on the next
Ken,
agenda.
yes, we're going to put this on our next agenda. We meet every other month. And it's
The third Thursday?
I think
third
we're-
Thursday?
I think we're meeting on the 2nd of August.
We are. Why is that?
Well, it just came on my email.
That's a special meeting.
Is that a special, so we can't discuss anything like
No,
this?
Oh, okay.
that meeting's being called by Matt, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. So, stay tuned.
The next meeting, I think, will be in September.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So
it'll be
if you want to help us out by, for understanding things, come back, help us understand so that we can keep things going so that, mass majority is happy,
We can tell you what's working, if you make any changes,
Right, right. Okay, well, we need to move on after the public comments. About 5 down is duck hunting, so stay tuned. Number 3 is approval of the minutes for our May 17th board meeting. I've looked over them.
I have.
I'm
Make a
fine.
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nope.
Okay. Discussion of site of dog park.
I make a motion that we table the dog park
Yes.
and not discuss it this evening.
Okay.
Second.
It doesn't have to be voted on, you just don't have to.
Okay, doesn't have to be voted on. Now we're to.
But that means we can still discuss it.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll just be moved on.
Yeah, just-
Okay, on to ducks. Okay, discussion and consideration of duck hunting on Liberty Lake.
That's why you guys didn't leave.
He's here for that.
Okay, wonderful. And what is your name?
My name is Paul Fincher. I live at 300 South Hiawassee Road, Guthrie. I've been a long-time resident of Guthrie and had a business here and do own some property around here and Liberty Lake. At one time, we did have duck hunting, as you know, at Liberty Lake, and I am the district manager for Ducks Unlimited, and I represent about 7,500 people. And you look at the vast duck hunting scene, and you closed it, and you had a lot of young people. I can name a few doctors in this town that been duck hunting with me when they were children, and they would like to see their children be able to come out there and go duck hunting, as well as older gentlemen. And you know, it's really a good sport, and the roads are not a real deterrent. You know, that was one thing when I approached the council before, and now they ship me over here to you. That's really not a deterrent at all, because in some places you have to walk in, like at Hackberry Flats, and it's not just a deal, maybe 2 miles you walk in. So it's not that's not an issue. However, I have some local community people that'd probably even help you with your beach, that would donate their time and their dozers to eliminate all that problem, because they're duck hunters too. So, and we may have to do a fundraiser and pay for the diesel fuel, and maybe we can get DeLisi or McBride out there to donate some chat for the roads. You know, and that's there. People have already volunteered to do some of those things, but the issue is you wouldn't let us hunt. We never
But
had
I'm
anybody.
confused, sir. I'm sorry to butt in, but at the council Tuesday, at the workshop, they talked about
Right,
opening it up. So and we have to go by what the council
okay.
thought. Okay, I'm curious as to what do you want us to do?
What I would like to see, if you, of course, I don't know what you discussed at Tuesday's meeting.
I wasn't there, I watched it. It was the council discussed it
Right.
at the workshop
So-
about even opening up more territory
Yeah.
for duck hunting.
If they would open it, the issue, there's all kinds of support that I can get you through the wildlife department. You name it, I can do it. And there are grants to be had to help you with all that. Through
And-
NACA
And I'd like to know, you know, that this rule change with duck hunting was done in 2008.
Right.
Before any one of us were on the board.
Right.
So this is new to us.
Right.
And
Anyway, well, what I was asking you, if you will allow us to reopen it and be within the federal migration rules as applies to Oklahoma, let us hunt from sunrise to noon each day, and we're done at noon.
Well, I think you ought to maybe talk to somebody, Matt, because I didn't listen long enough to see what they approved, but I know they discussed it
Okay.
big time.
He sent me here to,
And he sent you here.
I think that they just passed it
Passed
to
it
us.
to us.
he said that you all have to approve.
And of course, well, and all that we would do would be to make, we could
Your
make a
recommendation.
recommendation
Right.
To them.
to allow duck hunting, and then the city council would have to vote. All we do is advise.
Right.
We have, our clout is in being able to recommend something, but we don't vote
Right.
to make the rules. It's all done by council.
Let me ask is there anybody that's sitting up here with me that duck hunts? So are you pretty much as ignorant as I am? Okay, so if you have people at Liberty Lake, can you hunt? I mean, who gets, do you, I mean, it's guns and it's,
Well, they have a season for duck hunting. It usually starts about the last part of October,
okay.
and it goes to February 15th
So the
or
boats are
20th.
gone,
Right.
basically. There's not any skiing or anything
Right.
going on at that time.
Usually you don't hunt in the afternoons. You
Oh,
can if you're die hunter, but that's, you know, you're not going to have the fishermen out there at 40 degrees or 30 degrees.
Don't they allow duck hunting at the country club lake?
Yes.
Okay. thought they did.
Also, all the city leagues have their
Yeah.
same thing too.
And there's quite a bit of homes out there, and
Right.
you know, there's a lot of skiers and boats and stuff as well.
And there's
Okay.
some revenue opportunity in that for you too, if you allow at Liberty Lake. You know,
Because it takes,
used to have, I
Permits.
think we used to have 14 or 15 blinds and limited to 4 hunters per blind. But the way they did it is you played one flat fee, but they gave you the fee back if you didn't win the blind. The way that it has been and very successful is drawing will be a chance at $15. You can buy as many chances as you want. If you are the winning, if you draw the winning blind, it costs you $200. And the $15 is non-refundable. Those chances goes to the deal. So if you charge $200 a blind at 14, that's money. And if you're foolish like me, you might drop $300 and $15 chances. You know, it's a sport.
has it been, have we been following this rule since 2008?
No,
So
in
they-
2008, they only charged like $50 to sign up, and then they gave it back to you if you didn't get a blind.
Okay.
No, but they
There was-
stopped it. They stopped it in 2008.
It says
Right.
firearms will not be allowed, hunting shall not be allowed on Guthrie Lake or Liberty Lake. Am I reading it right? So it's been there for a while, so that's really, you should have been hopping mad in 2008.
We were.
Okay.
We didn't have a choice. They didn't even bring it up to the thing, so
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm aware of that. That was, that, you know, you probably lost, you know, the revenue in all the restaurants and gun shells and all the rest that goes with it. Probably lost conservatively in a year, $80,000.
yeah. Well, if we don't know about these things, it doesn't get done. So I really, really
Yeah.
appreciate you coming and telling us.
Right.
Because like you saw, we are not hunters or fishers. And so.
Ducks
you're
Unlimited, Ducks
educated.
Unlimited is a waterfowl conservation organization, and it's dedicated to restoring habitat.
Really.
And there are grants for what you're trying to do.
Can you tell me, since you've been doing this for a while, are there any lakes that have lots of homes around them that have duck hunting?
Arcadia.
Arcadia? But I mean, homes that are, because, you know, there is a plan to have residential homes on the lake out there in the cities. And it's been sort of, there's a master plan working to make a neighborhood right on the lake there. And
You gave a good example when you did Guthrie Country Club is one of them.
that's
And
true.
Karsten Creek's another one.
And of course, this, for the uneducated, myself included, ducks are shot with buckshot. They don't, I mean, if someone's across the lake, they're really very
About
little.
40 yards, Matt.
40 yards.
Yeah.
So it's-
If you get to the 10 gauge and some of the big weapons that you have, you might have to limit it to 12 gauge only and smaller gauges.
so you might have to limit the gun
Yeah,
size.
it's the same thing as fishing. Just all these things we worked out. I mean, I go out there fishing, all I hear in them woods at Liberty, every time I go fishing, he'll be doing his job at Guthrie, but he can't be at Liberty too, and there'll be AKs going all crazy in them woods. People out there messing around, so I mean, they just, everybody just, that's why they got game and fishing magazines, because game, hunting and fishing, it's all the same thing. We're hunting with poles. It's, everything just, you know.
So
Just want to throw her out there.
you hunt with bullets that only go 40 yards.
or less.
And they're small.
And it's buckshot
It's
or
buck-
BB, they're like a BB.
BB.
Little BB.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that isn't an issue. That shouldn't be an issue at all. Never has been.
Okay.
And, I can tell you 4 doctors that have lived through it, so, and they were on the other side, blind, 2 young kids, so, anyway, they'd be here tonight if they weren't out on vacation, so,
Probably duck hunting.
yes. No, I wish there was duck hunting, but they're in Alaska right now, so.
Okay.
My only concern with this is that we have spent a considerable amount of time listening to this master plan for Liberty Lake, and even a company has been hired to draw up this master plan, and they've presented these drawings and different things to us. I would just want to get some kind of, I wouldn't feel comfortable voting on it tonight, not knowing what the people that are, making the plan out there for the neighborhoods and the horses, and I don't feel smart enough to have an opinion one way or the other right now.
We can, I think, maybe table it again or, discuss it. as
But
we're
I
going
feel
to
like-
discuss all this.
Would you like me to have about 100 people come and talk to you?
What is the company that did the
Jacobs,
Pardon me?
I think it's Jacobs Engineering.
Jacobs Engineering?
And that,
I mean, I would just want some input from someone that,
yeah, you'll get that on August 2nd. You will get that on August 2nd.
Okay, okay.
Can the public come?
You sure? It's
Who?
an open, it's a public meeting.
What day is
August
this?
2nd.
August 2nd? Anybody have a calendar?
I believe it's 6 o'clock.
August the 2nd is a Thursday.
Yes, it's
'Cause
6
on
o'clock.
Friday, we have a deal,
Okay.
waterfowl deal.
Okay. So it's open to the public?
Oh, yeah, all meetings
Because
are open to the public.
Gentlemen, there's been considerable discussion about this super master plan out there, and they're talking about, hundreds of $1,000s of homes and horse trails, and these people were at Liberty Lake, and these people were hired by the city,
Council.
by the city council. They presented plans to us. There's everything from an amphitheater to the beach is part of the master plan.
My question is, I'm just now hearing about this. I haven't heard nothing about it, City of Guthrie wanting to build houses on every place.
On Liberty Lake.
Now we're going to nothing in the newspaper. Is that on private property or city property? It's city property.
It's city property.
So now, we're going to have a bunch of homes, a bunch of yards, and a bunch of high-dollar fertilizer, and other chemicals. Off in your watershed for use for drinking water.
I believe that's all being studied at this time.
Do you want to get up there and?
Well, like I said, this is all
This-
being
Okay,
considered.
But,
we'll be at the meeting in August.
yeah, please study it because we've done a lot of studies on this, but we haven't heard your angle on it. So if we all come together, I think we'll have some really great harmony.
And it's been in the newspaper, and I mean, it's
I mean,
been
it's
on.
not secret.
Every one of our meetings is on the government channel.
Coming out from outside of town?
Pardon me?
Is it people that are coming outside of town wanting to do this, or is it like?
Oh, no.
Just-
No,
It's
I mean, there's not
city
even it hasn't been, it's just,
I mean, is it a thought, is it a thought of the Guthrie people?
it was a thought of the city council to sell some of the property out there. And I think part of, like you said, part of it is just a plan for the future, and it's like a 20-year plan. And as I understand, as I remember, what would you say? It's 20%, it's just one corner of the lake. It's not all the way around, or
Is there a place,
most of it is a nature center and walking trail all the way around the
Well, let's
lake.
get back to voting on
Okay.
this, and then they can come to the.
Yeah, you guys will just have
And-
to come to the meeting on the 2nd.
there may be a place online that they can see the plans?
I don't know if it's posted online
Okay.
or not,
Okay, come
because
to
it
the
hasn't
meeting.
been finalized or anything.
The council is the one makes all the decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. When do they meet?
They meet the first and third Tuesday of the month.
Ever,
2 times.
absolutely.
That is your local government. You are welcome anytime.
Anytime.
2 times a month.
And you can watch it
That's
on
right, they're
television
your
as well.
voted people.
Yeah. Just like you're going to watch us, you can watch them. 2 times a month.
If you sign up, yes.
You need to sign
You
up.
just need to sign up and they'll give you a
Yeah,
chance.
you have to sign up before the meeting or you will not be allowed to speak at that.
How long before the meeting?
Well,
15
you can come up.
minutes.
There's always
Yeah,
something
15
there.
minutes, and you're limited to 5 minutes, which we haven't been real strict on tonight. That's okay. Pardon me?
The next meeting is, let me look at my calendar. We just had the second one. It's August, yeah, you're right. No. Let me see. Maybe it is August the 2nd. If it's the first Tuesday, yeah.
Well, that's on, August the 2nd is a Thursday.
The
Oh,
first
yeah.
Tuesday is the 7th.
The 7th, yes.
The 7th.
So it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday at 7 o'clock, the workshop's at
Yeah,
6.
okay.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done, I guess.
Okay.
So when are you going to vote on whether they're going to approve next Tuesday?
Apparently we're gonna be meeting with Jacobs and Company on August the 2nd.
That's what I understand.
And we will discuss, hopefully, we can get staff to
Thank
get
you,
word
guys.
to them that we're wanting some input on what they think, how duck hunting would fit in with the master plan at Liberty Lake.
Bye, Evan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got one thing to say, just for you all's knowledge.
Can you step up here? And and you next, sir.
I think when they done away with the duck hunting, it was more to do with firearms on city property is why they done it, which the duck hunters don't, they're there to duck hunt a few hours of a morning, basically. But I think that's what led up to it ultimately was the firearms on the city
Yeah.
property.
Right, and they never use bazookas or anything like that on a duck.
Using a shotgun, so
Okay.
just for,
You want something left of the duck, right?
you want something to eat.
Yeah. Do you need to say something?
My name's Jeff Goodwin again.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring something up. Y'all said that we could watch the meetings online. I tried to watch one the other day, like 2 days ago, and it said the server had some problems and it was not playing, so I wanted to bring that to you.
Now, do you have
too.
Cox Cable as
No,
well?
I tried to watch it at my work, which we have
Oh, okay.
a T1 internet line, so, but I just wanted to bring that up, so if there's a
Have you
issue-
tried it recently?
I tried it 2 days ago, and that was the
I
last
don't
time.
know then. I don't know what the problem is.
And right there where it says watch the meeting, or, it's got the little icon.
Okay, I'll let them know.
All right, I appreciate it.
I make a motion that we table the duck hunting at Liberty Lake
Yes.
for our special meeting on August 2nd.
This is too important not to. I.
You need a second.
I need
Oh,
a
second.
second. Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
You'll probably need to do the next one too, to table, because that's.
Okay. Discussion, consideration of the amendment ordinance,
So we can
which
go-
is, so
Yeah.
that needs to be tabled too.
That's correct.
What did you
Oh, Aaron has a response.
Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Yeah, please do.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So
Our audio guy.
Right now, as it stands, all meetings are posted at least within 24 to 48 hours after the meeting has been held. Right now, we don't have we're having issues with our live internet feed, so we don't do those recently, so that's happened about a week ago, and so we're trying to work through that. But 24 to 48 hours. If you're talking about the council meeting, that would be posted already, and yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, usually by Wednesday at midnight, those council meetings are able to be watched, so it
Midnight.
just takes a little while for them to upload to the site that we post them, so.
Thank you. Okay, did we vote on that, tabling the amendment ordinance?
No, you didn't.
Okay. Somebody seconded?
Seconded.
Well, that was the first one. Now we're on number 6.
No, I thought I seconded that
Oh,
one.
okay. So she seconded it.
Did you make the motion?
I'll make a motion.
I thought he did.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Number 7. It's the skateboard park and events. I move to have it brought up to the very top next time so we can talk about my skateboard park. But I don't think we should talk about it tonight.
Okay.
What do you think?
I make
What
the
do you
motion
guys
to
think?
table it as well.
Let's table.
Yeah, it's important, but we had, this to learn about. So, who seconds it?
I'll second.
Okay, did we motion? Or are we doing it
Yeah.
backwards?
You're doing it backwards. I didn't hear who motioned.
Oh, I'll make
a
You make the motion.
Okay. And second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor of tabling the skateboard park till next time? Okay,
Aye.
aye? Any opposed? Okay. Report on Highland Hall parking, that,
Well, we can give you that. Nothing has been done because the motor grader has been non-existent.
oh,
So
Okay.
it's still on the list to be done. So that's kind of where we are there.
it's called a motor grader?
Yeah, the thing that
Great.
grades
Yeah.
the roads.
And that's what Matt said you all are going to voted on to get that
Yes.
new one.
Yes, 3 pieces of equipment.
Okay,
So we need to make a motion to table that as well?
No.
No, it's just
that
a
was just a
report.
report.
Oh, it was just a
That's
report.
just to let
It
you
wasn't a
know.
consideration.
It isn't
Okay.
done.
announcements from the staff. That's you guys down there.
That's us.
I don't have anything.
I don't really either. I guess everybody noticed that the fountain's off in the park because of it's getting low again, that we need some rain so badly.
Okay.
But for the most part, everything else seems to be going fairly smooth.
Okay.
Hot.
Yeah. Requests, comments from the members of the board. That's us, guys.
That's us.
Anything?
I would just like to touch on something that last month, and I'm trying to remember who suggested it, but talked about us getting together to go through the parks and sort of come up.
We're more knowledgeable about what.
Yes.
I'd
and,
love to
I
do
was
that.
just a suggestion that, since we don't meet every month and we meet every other month, that perhaps we could meet to do that, or we could set up a committee to do that.
Yeah.
So not
We
all
could meet
5 of us
after
would have to.
10 p.m. with our fishing poles at,
And be quiet.
And I thought this might be a way for us to better communicate to staff, because I think we have failed in that area sometimes as well, of what we think needs to be done at the park so that staff can present it to Matt.
I would like that.
And
Some evening,
we meet
are
the
you
third
thinking?
Thursday of, and Maxine, tell us if we can, it's my understanding in the ordinance that we can have the chairman could have a committee? Would that be a committee of us, or, do you know?
I don't know.
It's, I mean, it's in the ordinance that we can have a committee, and I didn't know if we all 5 wanted to do that.
No, you
Talk
can,
about it just to learn a little more.
Yeah, and I certainly wouldn't mind, just the third Thursday of the month when we don't meet, if we're available to maybe go to the park. And then 2, it would give us an opportunity.
Well, if we do, I want Verdell to be there to give us like his expertise.
Too.
I would suggest that we wait.
Just
till
remember
after the
that-
weather is not 100 and.
that's right. Just remember that Verdell puts in many, many hours.
Yeah.
Many hours. And so
I would just think that it might help us come up with a list of what, of the things that we'd like to see done, so that we can present them to, or that staff could present them to Matt to put them on the list.
Well, you could meet and go through the parks on your own, and then
And report.
and let
and
us
report
know,
back
and
as
then
well.
maybe we could come up with some ideas to help, or
Yeah.
give you reasons
Right.
why
Because,
things
I
like
noticed
that
for the very first time in the ordinance, and I thought it was profound because I didn't know about it, and I felt like it's where we have failed in a way, because, we're still learning what we're responsible for. Let me find the little ordinance here, and I know it's late. But the park ordinance that created this, lists the 5 areas that we're supposed to consider, but and the second part of it, it says findings and recommendations of the board regarding maintenance and upkeep of existing park properties and facilities should be referred to the city manager. So like when we discussed the stone wall in front of Highland Park, so that when we have meetings, if we continued, just like she's been so diligent to bring up the skate park, that when we see things that, like the wall going into Highland Hall, I think you had mentioned that it's sort of falling apart.
Falling apart.
So that staff knows what's on our sort of radar, and then 2, as a board, that we can discuss what things, because we probably, there's probably so many things that everything can't get done, but we could at least sort of prioritize what
Yes,
we would like to see done.
and then that could be presented to council.
Yeah,
and
and then just council would sort of know what's on our radar, and so it might make them a little more receptive to, well, this is a need here. So anyway,
I got an
Just a thought.
idea.
yes.
Why don't the 3rd Thursday next in August, why don't you call us 3 days ahead and see who wants to do it?
I
At
can do
6:30.
that. At 6:30. And
Well-
if you don't want to go, I'll go by myself.
Well, you'll call
No.
all of us?
No pressure.
Send an email, is that what you'll do?
Yeah,
Email, call,
yeah.
And meet
carrier
where?
pigeon.
And the
Is it a
3rd
park?
Thursday of August is the
Even if it's
16th.
110, we'll be.
My truck's air conditioned. I can get you all in.
It's July.
Okay,
Are we through with that?
Yeah.
Something that I feel very lacking in is the history regarding some of the things that we discuss, like tonight. I don't know why the hours were changed for fishing. I don't know exactly why the duck hunting was stopped. I think that before we can really give wise counsel on these things, we need to know why they were changed. And so I think that we need more historical background on these things that we're supposed to be able to advise on or make recommendations on.
Do you want me to research that?
That would be wonderful.
Oh,
I'll do it.
Oh,
Thank you.
great. Just a minute. Parks. Okay, okay. Adjourn. How's that?
Does anybody else, I guess?
Oh, is it anything else, guys?
We need to thank our guests for coming
Yeah.
tonight.
Thank you, guests.
Very much.
We appreciate
Please
it.
come and support us and
We-
keep
we-
us
We learned a
informed.
lot tonight.
We did.
Yeah,
No problem.
We did.
Come back.
thank you. Adjourned.